approach you and the way they handle you on a personal level as opposed to the amount of knowledge they have.
I think it depends on the situation too. Like if you're just going in for a checkup, then maybe you'd be okay with that so long as you're comfortable with the doctor. But if you've got some serious unknown illness, you probably wouldn't want to go to a doctor who's only trained on for 10 hours.
Isn't there some assumed knowledge when you go into medicine?
Yeah.
Like, don't you have to do a whole other degree first and then sit against that? Like, I'm pretty sure you've got it covered by then.
Well, I know someone who just did physio as a degree and then went into being a doctor, and I don't think you know everything about the human anatomy through that.
Physio do a lot of human anatomy. It's more, I think it would more concern like science students.
Well, the article's basically saying that there's some unis that they're only teaching, I think it's about a tenth of the anatomy that other unis are teaching.
Yeah, well,
It's not very good then.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
who would feel uncomfortable going to a younger doctor who'd been to a university like that?
Would anyone not mind?
Did you actually get to do any like housemanship or practical training before they're sort of released out to the public?
They usually do.
Yeah,
Like after
They
they
do
graduate, after they graduate, do they do like
They
a
do
year or
a
so
year.
housemanship?
They
Yeah.
do a year.
So
But
there is it.
they're still dealing with people though, so imagine you're the first person that they deal with on the first day of their internship. How comfortable would you be?
Well, usually they'd be supervised, wouldn't they? By the more senior
Yeah, but
practitioners.
the whole point is they don't really help them. I mean, think of scrubs, that's basically
It basically, the article is a really good example of the lack of preparation that students have entering the workforce. So, like as journalist students, you guys were saying before, sorry, journalism students, you were saying before, there's a good prac element to our course. Do you think?
There's either,
But first,
it's generally good. I mean, if you ask the PUT student, they'll tell you that they do more practical, but I think it's important to know some of the theory as well. I think we do a lot of theory, but it's not like, I've already done like all the big like practical subjects like production and, you know, visual and all that kind of thing, and I think it's good. I think I've learned what I need to know.
do you feel like you'd be ready to go out in the workforce for it?
Well, I did for the whole of last year, so
How about some other?
I think like if you like say you get a degree in journalism and you're going to apply for your first job, you go in for an interview and then like if you're good enough, you get the job and you can be a journalist. But something like being a doctor, you go and study science and then medicine, and then you've got the qualifications, and then you're legally able to practice medicine. So there's not that extra judgment on how good you are. You know, in other jobs like.
you're technically not dealing with someone's life. If you're, well,
Yeah.
you could be dealing with someone's life if you're a journalist, but in a non-physical sense.
Does anyone here feel that if they had to go and work full-time tomorrow, they would manage as a journalist? Hands up?
Not all of us are journalism students though, so.
Yeah.
Okay, those are
Well,
the
in
hands
your
up
chosen
journalism
profession,
students
sorry.
first.
Well, in your chosen profession, if you went out tomorrow working full-time, who would feel comfortable and competent in their role?
Who feels that you need a degree to do what you want to do? Or you don't really need it, it's not really not necessary, you can pick it up as you go along. So who thinks
What
that
question?
who thinks a degree is necessary? So only two of you think a degree is necessary. Very good.
I'm a linguistics student, and to become a linguist, you kind of need a PhD to go into research and stuff. So it's sort of like, if I want to be a linguist, I'm going to have to keep studying forever. So I don't really think I'm like a good person to be like, all right, you'll exclude you from your question.
I think, just quickly, I think that people underestimate the amount of extracurricular things you can do while you're a student. And I've got a few friends that have done journalism cadetships, and you know it's taken them 4 years, and they've got a lot of practical knowledge. But in terms of broadening their horizons, in terms of knowledge and contact with different people, it's pretty limited what they do. So I think people underestimate what extracurricular advantages you have when you're involved as a full-time student.
So you think
A lot
you're
of people say that, you know, having the experience is more important than just having a degree. You know, they'll always pick someone with experience over someone who doesn't have experience.
That's a
get the experience, sometimes it's easier when you say, hi, I'm a third year student doing this, and so I'm not like a complete blank piece of paper. I already have some knowledge. Take me on the training along. I think that gets you a bit further.
How are we going, team?
Just one last question. Is anyone willing to share how confident they feel at the moment about the job climate and getting the job climate and getting employment at the end of their degree?
Like that we could get a job, like I already have a job.
I'm a little bit scared about it because I've been speaking to like a bunch of communication students that have finished in the last 3 years, and a lot of them are nowhere near where they want to be. A lot of them are still working in, retail roles, and like they're all like, yeah, I've got the degree, but there's no jobs. So,
What major did they do?
a bunch of different ones. Most of them are PR that I spoke to. I spoke to about 5, just through my retail job. They come in, I just have to talk to them about what they do. A lot of them did PR, and they'll say that they're doing other retail jobs, not doing PR yet.
Well, I had a friend that graduated journalism last year with honours, and she still hasn't been able to get a job directly in journalism.
So who feels confident that within 12 months after you graduate, you'll have a job in your profession?
It depends.
Depends who you know. It's all about networking. It's not just about your degree. And that's the thing. It's about your contacts.
And how well you are at interviewing and getting jobs, like.
And I'm just going to come to you. You can't just think, I got my degree, I graduated, and that's what's going to come to me.
And it would be hard to find a job in Brisbane, but if you're willing to move out of the city, it'd be kind of easier to work in a paper for 2 years and gain some experience there, and then try to get back.
Yeah, if you're not fussy and if you're not going to
Keep up with fuss.
yeah, exactly.
Not being
be really snobby
editor.
about it. If you're happy to take what you can get, then you're probably not going to have a problem.
Is JY too prissy about jobs?
Everyone thinks they're bigger and better than everyone else, so they don't realise they have to start at the bottom.
Everyone wants to be on 100K in it.
Final question.
Yep.
What's the most important thing you guys have learned during your time here?
This could be formal or informal, so it could be how to write an essay, it could be where to park if you can. Yeah.
That you are responsible for your own success. No one else gives a shit in school.
Budgeting.
Budgeting.
Oh, actually, on top of that, prioritising as well.
And who said networking? Me. Yeah. Anything else?
Probably time management.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Change over. Who's next? Jason? And Kenji? Fiona and Sarah.